This is suspicious. We reported last week that prison officials put a hit out on R. Kelly, and we ran through a 40-minute video exactly why they did it, who did it, and why. Everybody called us crazy. Approximately a week later, we learned today that R. Kelly just had an overdose due to a mistake that prison officials made with his medication. You can't make this up, people. And the details surrounding the overdose is even more suspicious.
Okay, so this news is actually breaking right now. Shout out to Brawl Alert, who was the first outlet that we saw actually posted it. But last night, R. Kelly's team filed an emergency filing. I received the filing a little bit after midnight. So I believe that's why it's breaking right now, is because outlets are waking up. So in the emergency filing, they allege that R. Kelly was giving an additional dose of medication by prison staff. And they're alleging that because of that additional medication that he was instructed to take and that he actually took, he suffered a overdose.
I know what you're thinking. Man, Kel's tried to set himself to the upper room to get out of prison. Trust me, I thought the same thing, bro. All right? Ain't nobody more distrusting of these malefactors than me. However, bro, when you look at the details, they are very strict on you taking medicine. So they hand you the medicine and they watch you take it in front of them, and they control the dosage. So there's no way that Kels could have manipulated this to give himself an intentional overdose. It is just not possible. And then also you look at the surrounding factors. R. Kelly got wind that the BOP officers were trying to kill him 3 days after he was given access to 13,000 pages of information, revealing who the officers were that illegally accessed his information and sold it to the media when he was behind bars. That's a criminal offense. Those officers on that 13,000 pages, they could go to jail. And then 3 days after R. Kelly got that information, he found out they trying to murder him. They trying to hire inmates to get him out of here. And then 2 days after he came to the media about discovering the ploy to murder him in prison, he accidentally overdosed after one of the BOP officers gave him medication that apparently was a dosage too high. At some point, we got to put our thinking caps on and say, okay, bruh, there's clearly something nefarious going on here. Obviously, bruh. Obviously. Now, the dosage was not where they stopped at. This wasn't where they stopped at in this ploy to murder R. Kelly, bruh. Because even after they made him overdose, when he went to the hospital, the doctors discovered something that could potentially be fatal to R. Kelly, a condition. And the prison official said, nah, let him die. Don't operate on him. Yo, these people are sick.
So they say that he woke up, R. Kelly woke up allegedly on June 13th and he felt faint. He was dizzy. He started to see black spots. He got up and he fell. He crawled to the door of the cell and he lost consciousness then. At that point, he was placed on a gurney. He was taken by ambulance to a nearby hospital because they tried to take him to the hospital inside of or associated with the facility that he's in, but they couldn't help him, so they took him to an outside hospital. In that outside hospital, on the way to the outside hospital, his team alleges that it was overheard someone in the ambulance from the hospital say, this is going to open a whole new can of worms. R. Kelly's legal team then alleges that once he got to the hospital, it was then revealed that he had been giving an overdose quantity of medicine. He was in the hospital for some days, and this was within 2 days of that original filing where his legal team is alleging that prison officials are trying to take him out of here. Now, they say in addition to this incident, this overdose, right, they're also pointing to the fact that R. Kelly allegedly has been asking for months to get some medical attention to a swollen leg. R. Kelly's legal team says that once he was taken to the hospital for this overdose situation, R. Kelly brought up the swollen leg, and they allege that doctors there then took a look at the swollen leg and they found blood clots in R. Kelly's right leg, allegedly, in his left leg, in his lungs, allegedly. And R. Kelly's legal team is saying that R. Kelly was then told he should stay 7 days in that hospital for surgery, and then it would be an additional 2 weeks because of whatever care they were going to need to give him. But his legal team alleges that once the prison was contacted, R. Kelly was then removed against his will by guards from the prison and was not allowed to be treated. And they are saying that basically this could kill him because of the blood clots and the care that they are alleging he is not receiving.
I understand. This is a tricky situation. R. Kelly is a despicable human being. R. Kelly has done things that nobody can co-sign. So if you hear that they're trying to fast track R. Kelly to send him to the upper room or down below, you don't care because he is being accused of doing things to the most vulnerable people in our society. I understand completely, and I'm not going to fault you for that take. I'm somebody where I probably feel the same way as you. However, I can still acknowledge there's something nefarious going on here, bruh. I ain't never heard the jail tell the doctors, hey, bruh, this man could potentially die. He got blood clots. Don't matter. Release him. We don't want... What? After trying to overdose him, after being accused of trying to hire two men to murder him, at what point do we say, yeah, bruh, Kels is something in them 13,000 pages of receipts that R. Kelly got on prison officials that they don't want the public to see? Because if you guys know, the Washington Journal got sold R. Kelly commissary information. Tasha Kerr received R. Kelly's emails, visitor logs, call logs, and she published that. And that in turn got R. Kelly's girlfriend to turn against him once she found out R. Kelly was cheating on her from behind bars, and then she testified against R. Kelly as a result of that. So clearly something nefarious, clearly something criminal took place here. There's criminal conduct that affects over 60 correctional officers. Over 60. This is going to be one of the biggest jail busts I think we've ever witnessed in the history of jails. Over 60 correctional officers were involved in a ring of stealing R. Kelly's information and selling it to the media. And R. Kelly finally has access to that information, and then all of a sudden, right when he gets access, we see multiple attempts on his life. Now they're saying, hey, bruh, that man got blood clots, let him die. Sorry, we don't care. Again, we understand R. Kelly's charges and his history, but is it right? Do he deserve a fair chance at the justice system? I'm torn. I'm conflicted. Because if you just told me person A, John Doe, who's not R. Kelly, who hasn't made music that we enjoy, just John Doe, and then you showed me the same charges R. Kelly got, and you showed me John Doe got those same charges, I would say, man, rot in hell, bro. I could give a damn. I could care less, bro. Man, what? They trying to overdose him? Good, do it again. That would be my take. So I understand how much of a hypocrite I am. And maybe it's just hard to detach the emotions that R. Kelly's music gave. That I still think R. Kelly is a garbage human being, and I really don't care for him that much. But do I believe he deserves to die under nefarious circumstances? I'm still torn, man, because I ain't got no love for no person who violates the most vulnerable people in our society. But this is tough.
Now, they do say that all of this can be proven. They say that the things with him getting to solitary confinement and taking that additional medicine allegedly will be on prison cameras. They say on prison cameras you will see R. Kelly arrive to solitary confinement. When you arrive there, because he takes medicines already for anxiety and sleep and other things, you have to show your medicine to guards, which they say is on camera. And then they say you will see the additional medicine being brought to R. Kelly on camera as well. And that the stuff at the hospital with the clots and not being treated, all of those accusations, they say can also be proven via hospital records. So they filed this emergency motion trying to bring light to this, to the same court that they are saying, hey, all this other stuff is happening. We're telling you he needs to be released because it is not safe for him.
Why does R. Kelly and his team feel like the feds are trying to kill him? Because he's not coming out until what, December 21st, 2045. He received 30 years in federal prison. So why does he think they're killing him? What does R. Kelly know that makes the feds want to kill him?
So, according to R. Kelly's legal team in the first filing, and they reiterated in this one, that whole plot to uncover the fact that there were things that were done wrong when it came to, remember I talked about like the flipping of the witnesses and all these things that they're alleging happened. Basically, they're saying the government and the prison officials have been covering up the fact that they did whatever they needed to do to convict R. Kelly allegedly, and his new legal team, in trying to file for other things, discovered that and brought it in a plan to bring it to light, and they found out. So this is all a way to cover that up. That is what R. Kelly's team is alleging.
Is it just me, or wasn't there a videotape of R. Kelly having sex with an underage girl? Did we not all
they're not arguing that did not happen, right? What they're arguing is that
They're both confused in terms of what's going on. Hey, man, if y'all need help, watch my 45-minute video on this R. Kelly situation. I break it all down. It's all there, bruh. Now, R. Kelly, I believe he was charged once for that incident and he beat it, even though we all know that was R. Kelly. We all know that's that sicko. All right. So in actuality, bruh, if R. Kelly dies in prison, I don't think anybody would shed a tear, bruh. All right. Bro, you heard kids, homie. Like we not rocking with you. However, I don't feel like it's productive for us to ignore the nefarious activities coming from prison officials, coming from the government. Because, we could separate this issue from R. Kelly. We could just look at this issue as the government is doing some foul things that's not right. The government shouldn't be able to essentially allow correctional officers to steal an inmate's information, sell it, then use that information to flip a witness, get the witness to testify against R. Kelly, and then for 4 years conceal the identity of the officers who access R. Kelly information. And then after a long legal battle, he finally gets access to who the officers were, what their names are, and how they got to access the information. But it's 13,000 pages, and he got to read through everything, or his attorneys got to read through everything. And before they could get through the 13,000 pages, they're trying to murder him. We could say the feds is bogus for that. But we could also acknowledge, because it's R. Kelly, we don't care what happened to R. Kelly. We just want to hold the feds accountable. And if there was a way for us to separate this issue, I would. But until there's a way to separate the issue, we essentially have to group it all together. Right? You essentially have to root for R. Kelly's lawsuit against the feds if you want to hold the feds accountable. You can't really have it any other way, right? So maybe R. Kelly could sue the feds, hold him accountable, and then get smoked in prison by another inmate. I don't know. Right? Maybe that's a happy medium for a couple of people. I don't know. But y'all let me know in the comment section, man. What do you guys think about this, all right? Do y'all believe that R. Kelly deserves justice? Or do you feel like once you commit those charges, bruh, ain't no justice for you? Let me know, okay? And if you're still watching, click on this video here somewhere on my screen to find out how K. Michelle, this washed-up singer, just destroyed her career after making this huge mistake mid-interview. I'm going to see you guys in this video somewhere on my screen. I'm out of here, folks. Peace.